Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, one of the giraffe keepers here at the Houston Zoo, and today we're continuing World Giraffe Day. World Giraffe Day was yesterday, and we're continuing the celebration with World Giraffe Day. Here we got Gigi. She is one of our female giraffes. Gigi was born here at the Houston Zoo. She is now 7 years old, and she's eating mulberry, which is one of her favorites. You can see how crazy long their tongue is. Their tongues can be up to 18 inches long, and they're prehensile. You'll see that she's going to wrap her tongue around the tree branch and just pull all the leaves off at once. So that's a special adaptation so that they can forage on trees all day. So these guys in the wild would vegetate on all the trees. That's why they're also so tall. Giraffes can actually get up to 17 to 18 feet tall, where your females are usually around 15 feet tall. Gigi here is probably over 15 feet tall at the moment. Then now the rest of the herd might be coming up soon too. We have a herd of 5 Masai giraffes. We have 3 females and 2 males. One of our males is the youngest, Bobby over there. And we just got a brand new male, Zawadi, who is still currently in quarantine, living in the barn. But you can see him, he now has access to holding, so he can meet his new herd. So you will be able to see him soon. He'll be joining the herd in the wild. On exhibit. This here's Camille. She's one of our females. Camille actually means perfect in Swahili, and we think she's kind of perfect. So those horns on their head are actually called ossicones. They're born with them. They're flapped down so they can get through the birth canal, and then within a couple weeks after they're born, they'll actually fuse and calcify to the skull. And the males use those ossicones for sparring and fighting with other males. They actually will swing down their head and pound into the other male's chest. And as the males mature, they'll actually start to get calcified deposits on their head, and so they'll have really bumpy heads. And that's basically to help harden and strengthen that skull for when they're pounding into another male's chest. Giraffes have excellent eyesight. They can probably see a mile away if it's clear, flat land. So there's a lot of advantages to living near giraffes. So we actually have ostriches in our exhibit, and since giraffes are so tall, they can see predators coming first. So they kind of warn everyone in the area. So it's not uncommon to find ostriches or antelope or other zebras living in the same area as giraffes. So since they get along well in the wild, we also house them together here in the zoo. A full-grown giraffe can weigh about 2,500 pounds. Giraffes can actually get into their 20s. It's a pretty long lifespan for a giraffe. Usually your males aren't going to last as long as your females. Usually a lifespan for a male is like late teens. They are pregnant for 14 and a half months. They'll have 1 calf, and usually that calf can be over 6 feet tall and can weigh over 100 pounds. Bobby, our youngest giraffe here at the zoo, was born at 6'3" and weighed already 140 pounds when he was born. And after they're born, within an hour, they can stand up. With 2 hours, they can already run and join the herd. And then the females get pregnant pretty quickly. Usually within a month after they give birth, they'll start cycling again and can get pregnant and continue having calves. And that calf would live with its mom for probably the first year of its life, and nurses from its mom for 6 to 9 months. These guys are ruminants, so they have the similar stomach as a cow. So sometimes you'll see them chewing on their cud. Giraffes have a pretty large heart. Their heart can be about 25 pounds, and they have twice the blood pressure of a human. These guys can sleep standing up or laying down, but they never lay flat out. They're always sternal, and that's to help to keep the blood flow going to their head. So they're always sternal. And they don't sleep a whole lot. They probably sleep 2 to 4 hours out of the day. And they're usually going to take a lot of short naps. They're not going to take really long naps. And then we got Gigi just showed up again. And then if you've ever wondered how many vertebrates are in a giraffe neck, it's actually 7, and which is the same amount of vertebrates you have in your own neck. Giraffes just have extra long vertebrates to go with their height. And these guys probably won't reach their full size. For females, they reach their full size between the age of 6 and 7. Males reach their full size between the age of 8 and 10. So Gigi and Camille here are pretty much full grown. And these guys are prey animals, so they are able to defend themselves by kicking, and they'll take off running as well. They have pretty powerful kicks. They can kick in all 4 directions, and with that 6-foot long leg, they can kick pretty far as well. So that's how they can protect themselves from lions and other predators in Africa. And so these are actually Masai giraffes. There are multiple different species of giraffes. So they originally thought there was one species of giraffe with 9 different subspecies, but with later research lately, they have now determined that there is probably only 4 species of giraffes living in Africa. So we got Masai that are found in the Kenya area, and then reticulated giraffes are also very common in zoos. And then there's southern and northern giraffe species. And the way you can tell the difference between the different species of giraffes is by their spot pattern. All giraffes have their own unique spot pattern to themselves, like just like your fingerprint, but the different species have different types of spots. So Jennifer asked if the giraffes like the hot weather that we have in here in Houston. And actually, yes, they're probably pretty adapted to the heat. These guys' natural habitat in the wild would be Africa, which has similar temperatures to what we have in here in Houston. Maybe not as humid, but they're really well adapted. These guys are not so adapted to the cold, so when it comes to wintertime, usually if it is under 50 degrees, we'll give them access to the barn. We have a heated barn for them. Since they're so large, they have a large body surface, it's hard for them to stay warm in the winter. Stacy asked if do giraffes like different types of vegetation, and are they finicky eaters? So yeah, in captivity I've seen like they do, like when it comes to browse, the branches that we give them, they're pretty much not picky. But when it comes to certain produce, they can be very picky. So it's more of an individual thing. Some giraffes like certain things more than others, but usually for their main diet, they all will eat about the same. Anne asked if we expect any baby giraffes in the future. Currently, right now, I do not believe any of them are pregnant, but they are housed. They're going to be housed with a male soon, so we'll see what happens. But it is always exciting when we have a baby giraffe. They're pretty cute and little. Little for a giraffe, I guess. So Davis asked, do giraffes lay down to sleep? Sometimes they do, it just depends. They can sleep standing up as well. When they do lay down, they don't ever lay completely flat out like a dog would. They're always going to be sternal, and sometimes they'll wrap their head around and lay it on their back. In the wild, though, you typically wouldn't see them lay down very often. It puts them more in a vulnerable position for a predator to take them. So like they say, full-grown male giraffes are rarely seen laying down in the wild. Hannah asked, how can you tell them apart? So All 5 of our giraffes have different heights right now, and they kind of just look a little different. So Gigi here is not the tallest, but she's getting up there, but she has a very dark face. So she's probably how I tell her apart. We have Camille, who was up here earlier. She's a very lighter colored giraffe, so she's easy to tell apart among the herd as well. So they all look a little bit different and all have a little bit different personalities as well, depending on the giraffe. Oh, and then we do public giraffe feeding here at the zoo. If you come from 11 o'clock and at 2 every day, we do a public giraffe feeding where you can come where we're standing today and actually get a chance to feed a giraffe. And it is a lot of fun. I've been doing this for many years and I still love feeding giraffes. So. And then you'd get it. So their main diet here at the zoo is we give them alfalfa hay and grain. They go through, for the whole herd, they're having about 60 pounds of grain. And they'll go through almost a whole bale of alfalfa. And a bale of alfalfa can weigh from 40 to 80 pounds, depending on the bale. And then our horticulture department, and we'll actually go around and cut different branches that we feed out to the giraffes every day. So this here is hackberry. Earlier I was feeding her mulberry. And that's probably one of their favorite things to eat are the tree branches. And they will rip the bark off and everything. They go to town. And you can see that how they're using that special tongue of theirs, it's prehensile, that they can pull the leaves off of the branches. Right now she's just going to town eating. And they're also very strong. So I just want to say thanks for everyone tuning in to Facebook Live. I hope you enjoyed meeting some of our giraffes. And there will be another Facebook Live next week on Wednesday, so stay tuned.